there, I hope your week is going well so far. Today's flow is pretty chill and relaxed as we move through a few poses that are repeated on each side of the body. Notice as we move through the left and the right sides, kind of how each of them kind of differ. Is one hip tighter than the other, kind of stuff like that. Really connecting with our bodies and feeling what we might need to kind of take some extra time with, kind of where we need to sit with for a while with the tension. Alrighty, well, without further ado, let's jump right in. Shavasana, bringing the left leg close to our chest and using the right arm to guide it over to the right side of the body in a very gentle supine twist, or Supta Matsyendrasana. The eventual goal here is to maybe have your knee closer to the floor, but if that's not accessible for you today and if that's not feeling right, feel free to just leave it hanging in the air, maybe putting a block under the knee. Now we're going to slowly allow it to drift back towards kind of the center here. Letting the left leg join the right before we bring the right knee to our chest, extending the right arm out long, and taking the knee over with our left hand. Extending both legs out long, coming up into a seated position, bringing our left foot towards us, leaving the right leg out long for a seated forward fold of Trianga Mukha Kapata Paschimottanasana. Breathing in to reach up towards the sky, lengthening the spine, and exhaling to drop down towards the foot. Bringing our hands to wherever feels comfortable. Maybe it's our thighs, maybe it's our calves or our feet. And then coming back up slowly and sending our left leg out long instead there. Bringing in the right leg and taking a deep breath in to extend upwards and exhaling to move down towards the leg. And coming back up. Moving into a tabletop position, or Bharmanasana. Thinking about the placement of our hands here, keeping them under our shoulders, gripping the mat with our fingers, maybe out-turning our wrists slightly. Placing the knees about hip width apart, tucking our toes and pushing back our hips in space for Adho Mukha Shavasana, or downward facing dog. So settling in here, finding your balance, maybe shifting the feet closer together as we lift the left leg towards the back of the room. Really pushing back there with the heel, and then pointing the toes as we bend the knee and open our hips towards the side of the room. Before shifting forward, bringing the left knee towards the left hand and the foot towards the right hand as we come down into a half pigeon pose, or Ardha Kapotasana. Extending the spine and then releasing forward if that feels comfortable for you. Just hanging out here for a minute. If you're feeling a lot of stretch kind of in the thighs there, something that I always found helpful was to just throw a block under my pelvis and kind of give me a little bit more space while also allowing you to sink further into the pose. All right, from here we are going to kind of tuck our toes under and come back into downward facing dog, finding our balance once again, and then lifting the right leg. Really extending towards the back of the room before pointing our toes and opening the hips up again. Kind of bending the knee there. Before moving forwards back into our half pigeon pose. And then extending and lowering down to the floor if that feels comfortable. Coming out of that pose into Shavasana. There's always something so cool to me about poses that flow on each side separately. Comparing how either side of our bodies move, maybe one pose feels amazing on one side of the body, but overall too much on the other. Working to find balance between the two, but always listening to your muscles and joints as to whether the pose is a good stretch or, super painful. As always, stay here for as long as feels good to you, and thank you for practicing with me today.